I said it right there.
Do I need to turn it on? It's good? Okay. Well, hi, everybody. That's right. This is audience participation. You know, I like your shirt that you have there. Were you a finalist before? No? Okay, 35 years ago, I had an idea. Okay, it wasn't much different than the ideas that these kids will have. And it certainly hadn't been taken any further than what some of these kids have taken their ideas as far as implementing it. But remember, we are an idea contest. Now, from idea to implementation is a whole nother story. And the reason we're here 35 years later is because, and I will follow my script because the borough mayor is here and I have to obey. Okay, so 35 years is a long time, and one that our community has a right, okay, to be proud of. We have seen teachers who started and built this curriculum retire, and now a whole new generation of teachers, some of whom were on this very stage in a Caring for the Kenai contest and found their pathway to education through what their idea was. They learned that their ideas are as important as a test score. And that makes me happy because I never did test very well. But our community has never would have happened. This never would have happened if it wasn't for the oil and gas industry. And I want to thank Marathon Petroleum for making our 35th Caring for the Kenai competition possible, along with our community partners who have supported CFK and are the reason that this opportunity is happening here tonight for our final 12. And as I just told them, that they are all winners. They have something on their resume that nobody else in the country will have. And trust me, I could be here all night talking about the success stories. This is the only school district that has it. It's been recognized by the President of the United States 8 different times. The only community that has been recognized that often by a president, a seated U.S. president. So it's exciting, and they are winners, and they, as their parents, as their teachers, as their adults, encourage them to follow the pathway that this has led them to. Now, just like the Kenai refinery, this Caring for the Kenai partnership was created here. It's our educators and it's our leaders that have put this together. All the employees of Marathon and those of our 9 community partners, Kenai River Raven Lodge, Peninsula Community Health Services, Eyewear Express, the KSRM Radio Group, Sweeney's Clothing, North Rim Bank, HEA, Davis Block, and Hillcorp. It's because of their financial support that we've been able to increase our student cash awards this year to $10,000. You'll never get a homework assignment. Yeah, that's great. And all of those people that support this and volunteers who step up. This doesn't happen because I make it happen. It happens because this community wants it to happen. Okay, it's been a privilege through the 3.5 decades to witness life-changing experience that this program has been to our students and in their lives. And if it wasn't for our sponsors' unwavering support of our young people, like Anna DeVold, a past CFK winner, she wouldn't have been featured in the October issue of People magazine last year, and then seen worldwide on Disney channels during Earth Month last year. Bucket trees to prevent forest fires wouldn't exist in Peninsula campgrounds, and so many other ideas that have improved our quality of life and safety here on the Kenai Peninsula for the duration of this program. Now, among the top 12 tonight in our competition are students from schools across the borough, including the Cook Inlet Academy, Soldotna High, Kenai Central High School, Homer, and Seward. These school classrooms will receive a share of the $20,000 in cash awards for STEM education supplements, in addition to the $10,000 that the students will share here tonight for tonight's finalists. So remember, when you shop, anytime you support these local people, they are supporting your kids. And none of the online sponsors are doing that. So it's important to support the community that is supporting us and the business that are here tonight. Okay, tonight you're seeing just the top 12 ideas selected last month by a broad-based panel of 6 judges from the over 350 entries that were submitted. But so many times, I meet old people. Yeah, I know, okay. But these old people tell me, I may not have made it to the top 12, and now I'm really feeling old. Okay. But when I entered the Caring for the Kenai, but I still use my idea at home, and that was the beginning of the pathway that I pursued in life. It all starts here tonight. A conservative estimate is that over the last 35 years, some 14,000 high school students have answered the prompt, what can I do, invent, create, to better care for the environment of the Kenai Peninsula or help the community prepare for a natural disaster. Thanks tonight to Josiah Martin and Martin Media and his employees that are here tonight, making sure this is a live stream. Tim Elder and Paul Wright, the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District, who made this theater set up tonight. Live streaming of those presentations makes it possible for us to be joining this, the folks who are joining it remotely. And I'm going to break away from my script just because it's important. These people that go unseen and unheralded, every time you've been to a dance recital, every time you've been to anything that the community has presented in the big theater or the little theater, these guys are behind the stage. They are hooking up all of the sound systems to be sure that you have entertainment. Our schools and the auditoriums are not just for education, they are for the community, for our entertainment, to be there. So anytime you talk to somebody that's an elected official that looks at cutting those things, understand they're cutting you. They're not just cutting the kids, but they're cutting our community. And personally, I'm willing to pay taxes to keep these things and those people providing this service, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Okay, now I'll go back to my script. And I want to send a greeting out to everyone from the Northland that we're proud to have watching through the live stream. Although we would like Texas to give us back our winter's plays. This has not been fun here this year. You guys have had more snow than we have had all winter long. But we have heard from many Facebook friends in South America, the lower 48, and around the world who are watching tonight. And we're honored to have you with us. And we say hi, and we all smile. Okay. A special shout out, though, to the Casa de Valencia en Colombia. Buenas noches. The family Valencia has been part of this since its creation. And, of course, Leonore, who I stole the idea from, has been with me for 35 years. And even though she's still in Alabama, the only reason I didn't forget things tonight is because she sent me a list of what I needed. Okay? So, hi, Leonore. Okay. And I did forget something, okay, even though it was on the list. But then again, last week, I teach a power pacing class. And one of my clients hollered out from the back of the room, Merrill, you've still got it. And I said, I may still have it, but I forgot where I put it. It's the truth. Okay, now your top 12 tonight. All contestants will remain anonymous until after the scoring is complete to eliminate any perception of bias toward schools or individuals. That means that each contestant will simply introduce themselves by an assigned number. Okay, and then the judges will score with those fancy little electronic digital things there that are in front of them. And we will proceed. Now, our esteemed panel of judges for tonight's presentations, I asked them to submit a bio so that I don't screw it up. And the elected official who always brags about answering every email or every text or every phone call you send him, except for me. Okay, I didn't get his bio. So here it goes. Past Solatna mayor, past state senator, past Senate president, and current father of 4 daughters, husband of 1 wife, father of last year's second place CFK winner, an advocate for the Caring for the Kenai for decades, and present borough mayor. Please welcome Peter Machicki. And also on our judges panel tonight, no, all the way to the end, Peter. Back of the bus for government officials. Our own superintendent of schools, and having worked with 5 superintendents over the last 35 years and many educators, I really have to do a shout out to Clayton Holland because he is the finest. He has been going through some of the most difficult times in a school district that is the size of West Virginia, with cultures that vary from villages in Port Graham to Russian villages to Soldotna High School to Nikiski, and finding the best teachers available, the best principals, to be sure that they get the best education. And education is not just test scores. Got to say that. Mr. Holland has worked in education for over 3 decades. He began his local career in the Kenai Peninsula Borough School District as a special education teacher at Central High School in the year 2000. He served as the district superintendent support services program coordinator in 05 and 06, the district director of student support services in 06 and 07, and director of student support services from 2008 to 2020. He moved into the position with a lot of experience and knowing that district that is the size of West Virginia. His personal support for CFK is the reason that we have been able to transition this partnership from yellow pads and handwritten essays and fax machines to where we are tonight, and poised Caring for My Backyard to be implemented statewide in the very near future. So please welcome your superintendent of schools and my friend, Clayton Holland. Thank you. Another homegrown guy that has got quite a history is Bruce Jackman. I think this is his 3rd or 4th year that he's been here on behalf of West Tesoro, and now is Marathon Petroleum Kenai Refinery Manager for his 4th year. I got it right. As finalist judge. He was born and raised right here in Kenai. Bruce is the first locally born person to rise to the manager's position of the Kenai Refinery, and that says a lot. He grew up in Nikiski and graduated from KCHS in 1988. After high school, he attended the University of Kansas, earning his Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Bruce's entire work career has been in Nikiski. He worked as a crew member on the Barnes SetNet site through his high school and college years. His first professional job was in 1993 as a project engineer at the Unocal Agrium Nutrient Fertilizer Facility, one of our original sponsors. He spent 15 years at the facility with roles in engineering, maintenance, turnarounds, and operations. When the fertilizer facility closed in 2008, Bruce took a maintenance supervisor role across the street at the Tesoro Refinery. And in 2011, Tesoro promoted Bruce to maintenance manager. In 2021, Bruce was promoted to the refinery general manager. He is the top dog of that refinery out there, of the largest refining company in the country. Bruce and his wife Amanda continue to live in Nikiski. They have 5 children and 2 grandchildren. Give a big round of applause to Bruce Jackman. Brad Janorski currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of Homer Electric Association and its generation and transmission entity, Alaska Electric and Energy Cooperative, the AEEC. HEA delivers service to over 36,000 meters across the Kenai Peninsula. Again, as big as most states. HEA also operates and maintains the Bradley Lake Hydroelectric Project, the largest hydro facility in Alaska. With over 36 years in the electric utility industry, Brad joined HEA in 2004. He has worked for 2 distribution cooperatives and 1 generation and transmission cooperative in Minnesota since 2014. He has served on the Northwest Public Power Association, including his executive committee. He has also been the District 9 Director of the National Rural Utilities Cooperative Financial Cooperation Board since 2019. Brad also holds a Bachelor of Science in Engineering, Technology, and Master Business. And with all of that, he's a volunteer fireman. If you're in trouble, He's one of the guys that's going to run into the trouble to save you. Please welcome Brad Janorski. We are so lucky to have you, Brad. Even though he's the only guy that has gotten me to Fairbanks on false pretenses. And now, CEO of PCHS, known as Peninsula Community Health Services. Prior to the pandemic, Ben Wright was PCHS, the CEO in the organization. Mr. Wright hails from Duluth, Minnesota, and he has more than 30 years' experience as an administrator for organizations and focuses on serving at-risk populations. Mr. Wright has brought to the Kenai Peninsula his knack for developing innovative programs, not only to PCHS, but to the whole Central Peninsula as well. Mr. Wright brings to the Kenai Peninsula a well-rounded approach to health care issues, and he loves these kids' ideas. Please welcome Ben Wright. Ben. When Alden Ford developed our first website, and I won't remember what year it was, but it's the same year that Peggy Erkeneff came to town. And she has got some real social media skills. And she stepped up and became one of our supporters. And then her dad came to town. Now, Peggy is the owner currently of the River Raven Sanctuary Lodge in Soldotna, where she hosts groups and leads retreats. A 17-year champion of caring for the Kenai. She's the former KPSD Director of Communications, an author, photographer, who writes a weekly column called Open the Present. The present, not that present, but the present time with Peggy on Substack. I have no idea what Substack is, but imagine it's a sack of subs, right? You know, you get the bologna and the roast beef. Following her parents to Alaska, Peggy has deep roots in our community and a passion for supporting young environmental innovators. Please welcome Peggy Erkeneff. So glad you're here, Peggy. Trent Dodson is new to our judges panel tonight. He serves as executive director of the Kenai Watershed Forum, a nonprofit organization dedicated to maintaining the health of our watersheds on Alaska's Kenai Peninsula. At the Kenai Watershed Forum, he oversees programs related to water quality monitoring, salmon habitat restoration, invasive species management, and community education. Prior to becoming executive director, Trent was the project manager at Kodiak Regional Aquaculture Association, where he oversaw salmon enhancement and hatchery management in the Kodiak region. His education and outreach director for the Cook Inlet Region Citizens Advisory Council, known as CERCAC, where he focuses on public engagement and stakeholder relations. A senior biologist at Cook Inlet Aquaculture Association, where he has applied his scientific expertise to salmon habitat enhancement, population monitoring. He cares a lot about the environment and the next generation who will see those improvements and those challenges solved. Please welcome Trent Dodson. Come on out, Trent. He has also built a bucket tree with his local Rotary Club here, because our final judge is last year's winner. And it's a team of girls. It's the Girl Scout Troop 210, the team of Caitlin Eskelin. She goes to KCHS. Emma Hinman. She goes to River City Academy. Katie Newkirk of Connections, and Liberty Stockman, who went to So High, and I think now she has left. Their team captain is Caitlin Eskelin. She's going to be doing the scoring for this team. So let's bring the whole team out tonight and have Caitlin take the seat at the scoring computer. I have to say, this is a very broad-based panel of judging. And unlike academic or athletic competition, where there are rules and the judges have to follow the rules, there are no rules here. We have a rubric, and we suggest the way that the judges will score those rubrics. But as you can imagine, all of their scores are going to be different. Only once in 34 years has this whole panel agreed on a first place winner. That was last year, and that was our Girl Scout troop who made bucket trees, which now are in our campgrounds. And this winter, Trent, along with Caitlin and the Girl Scout troop, made 10 more bucket trees that are going to be deployed at the Russian River campground later this spring, if it ever gets here. And we're so proud of that. And it's something for these girls. They also went to Washington, D.C. and was the President's Environmental Youth Award. Now, I mentioned before about a crew backstage, and up until just a couple of days ago, I really didn't know who that was going to be. It's kind of hard when Leonore is in Alabama and all of these things have to be done. But our CFK crew tonight, well, of course, the person who connected all these computers is Hadassah Knight. Okay, and Hadassah, even though she's still in Anchorage, is still doing our media, our website, and I really appreciate her. Let's give Hadassah a round of applause. She will be sure that I don't make any mistakes tonight. Now, the other two that stepped up are our timekeeper, who is Heidi Sorrell. Heidi, wave your hand in timekeepers. Okay, and they will be watching you. And of course, Samantha Springer. Heidi is the new Chamber of Commerce Executive Director at the Soldotna Chamber of Commerce. We're glad to have her here tonight. And Samantha Springer is from the Kenai Chamber of Commerce, and she's backstage with our kids, being sure that she is our stage manager and getting everything put together. So with that, our first number, I believe, Hadassah, if we have everything right. Okay, all finalists, please follow Sam out into the hallway, and Hadassah is going to be sure that we have all of the computers logged in. And we can be bringing out our first contestant and getting the stage set up for her. Our class of 2025, our first contestant is number 600. Come on out and we'll get the microphone adjusted for you. And judges, if you'll be sure that you have the number 600 on your scores. Do a little sound check. Talk into that. Talk into a little bit. Say 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
We have a little more gain on her microphone, please.
Okay. 1. Okay.
That's that. Hadassah? Hadassah, our judges need some help.
Might swap stands here if this one's not going to work. Yeah, let's just switch stands. Here, we'll keep that. We'll put that one over there.
Is this one hot now?
Yeah, yeah. Speak up a little bit. There you go.
We get it sooner or later. All set. Okay, You see our square? You can watch our timekeeper there. And when she has 30, when you have 30 seconds left, she'll bring up the yellow one. And when your 5 minutes is up, she'll raise the stop sign.
All right.
Okay. You all ready? Go ahead. Here we go. Number 600. Time out. You need Hadassah. Like I say, handwritten essays and yellow pads. It's the future, Brad. I don't tap dance. I should have learned. Have the oral presentations always been here? The first year they were at So High in the green room. And that's a long time ago. Then we moved here. So yeah, we've been here for 34 years. This will be our 34th year in this auditorium. It's only the second year, though, that we've used digital scoring. So we are going to be sure that everybody has their technology in front of them. Everybody else all logged in? It's just Brad? No, it's not Brad. Did we have a power outage, Brad?
No.
No? Can't blame you for this?
Nope.
Oh. I'm going to try. Welcome, Brad. Well, I can talk a little bit about the program. Something that happened just a couple of weeks ago from one of our finalists that was here maybe 3 years ago. And it exemplifies this program and the opportunity that it is. She was a finalist, but she didn't follow through with her idea. Now, we are an idea contest. There is nothing that says these kids have to do what they're going to present to you tonight. But what she did say was that it was the beginning of the pathway that she is now pursuing. She is on her way to the University of Alaska Fairbanks to study environmental science. And while she got too busy to implement her idea, if she hadn't been on this stage, she wouldn't have sought the pathway in her life that she's doing now. And that says a lot for the investment that has gone into this program, to the educators that have used it, not as extracurricular, but as curriculum that meets state standards in math, science, and language arts. We're getting close? Aye. Everybody's asleep now in Alabama, but that's all right. It's bedtime out there. It'll get easier after we get the first round. We ready? Everybody's got it all online? Okay, I'm glad I'm not trying. Okay, timekeeper, let's get ready to go and let's welcome number 600.
Good evening, everyone. Now, imagine this. You're in your car driving on your favorite Kenai Peninsula road. Maybe you're heading south to Homer, going north to Seward, or just your neighborhood road. The sun is shining, it's late spring, the trees are green, and along the road are Alaskan wildflowers. Wouldn't that be such a lovely sight to see? Now, I'm going to tell you how this can become a reality, and more importantly, why it should. My proposal is called Beautification by Nature. Many of the Kenai Peninsula roadways are damaged and even hazardous. Roads are only as strong as their foundation. Bank erosion due to water runoff helps contribute to the decay of our roads. But what if there was a way to slow this process down? Well, I think there is. Here's my solution. Road construction in Alaska is a never-ending cycle. I propose that anytime there's new road construction, like the Cooper Landing bypass, the sinkhole on K Beach Road, or even a new bike path, we change the hydro seed. Instead of using the plain old average grass seed, let's use a vibrant mix of Alaskan wildflower seed. A simple switch of seed could make a huge impact. Native wild plants have a deeper root system than the average typical grass does. Deeper roots equal power. The deeper roots allow for better drainage. This keeps the water from pooling on the surface and prevents the water from washing away the top layer of soil. The soil will stay in place, not just on the surface, but deep underground as well. The lupin, shown here, is a prevalent Alaskan wildflower and known for its deep root system. Like many Alaskan wildflowers, lupins are perennials. They come back to bloom every year. A variety of Alaskan wildflowers will ensure a balanced bloom, as well keep the needed nutrients in the soil, all while keeping the important road foundation strong and in place. Not only will this help slow the process of bank erosion and the resulting road damage, it also has additional benefits for the Kenai Peninsula. The wildflowers would attract and feed our pollinators. Bees, beetles, and butterflies are essential. Supporting the pollinators gives the entire ecosystem a boost from the ground up. Not to mention, it would be a beautiful sight to see. Don't you agree? Now, how much would this improvement cost the taxpayers? Grass seed and wildflower seeds cover the same amount of area, meaning we only need to switch out the type of seed pound per pound. Shopping around, I found the price of a 50-pound bag of wildflower seeds costs about $50 more. 50 pounds of seeds covers about 1,000 square feet. I'm confident the state's Department of Transportation finance team would strike a better deal working directly with the retailer and purchasing larger quantities in bulk. But does this cost more? Yes, but it should pay for itself by reducing road and shoulder damage and the cost for repairing them. I hope one day I'll get to see my idea implemented along our Kenai Peninsula roadways. Thanks for listening.
Very nice job with the presentation. Thank you for your patience too while we were figuring out what we were doing here. You guys go over it. Have you had the chance to talk to DOT about this project and possibility of something like that happening?
I haven't talked to them yet.
Okay, it's a great idea, I love it, I'd love to see some fruition.
Yeah, I had the same comment. It's an idea, and I was the same question too, is if you type the DOT guy, I think they'd love to hear from you on this. It's a great idea. And I think you're spot on as far as future benefits offsetting that little higher cost for grass seed. I think the savings in repairing erosion shoulders would be a thing. So I think from an economic standpoint, anything on the life cycle of that road would be, I think it would have a lot of things. So, thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to echo the compliments as well. And I think this is a great idea using local seed. You'd be amazed how many invasive plants are introduced in accurate seeding. So kudos to you on using Alaska wildflowers. Had you looked into also not only plants that would help with erosion, but then also plants that may absorb salts or any sort of chemical coming off the road that would also help improve chemicals coming off the road?
I haven't thought of that yet, but I will do more research into it.
Great.
I love your idea. I love wildflowers. I'm probably the person that finds the pull-off spots to pick wild loop and bring them in for a short-lived bouquet. I wonder if you consider doing any demonstration spots or finding an area that you could work with DOT or a city and doing some type of a demo area. That's just a thought, and I wonder if you thought about it, and if not, there's an idea for it.
Any other questions? Any other comments for the judges? Okay, let's give her a big round of applause. Number 600. Thank you. Judges are making their scores, but I'd like to let you know that everybody has their own microphone this year. Again, thanks to the department here. Please speak into it. Get nice and close to it because they're trying to hear all the way in Alabama and Columbia. Okay, you got to really project. So bring that mic up close when you're asking your questions. That also help the audience understand when you answer your questions. Okay, we're going to set up contestant number 2. You need anything on stage? You got everything all ready to go?
Yes, this is the.
Okay, we're going to wait for the judges to be sure they're into their next scoring sheet. Is that okay? We have number 500. Everybody all set for number 500? Timekeeper, you're ready? Take it away, 500.
It took me quite a few weeks to come up with a project that I thought would benefit our community, but I know that my project will. Greeting, judges. I'm a freshman in Soldotna. I am here to talk to you about my Caring for the Kenai project. Although this winter was lacking in snow, and people still had the chance to get hypothermia, people still could freeze to death just because they could not afford a coat. Imagine, in a community where we say that we are caring for each other, we let some of our own suffer. I believe that this is a real problem and there is a great solution for it. My proposed project is a coat closet for homeless people who cannot afford coats. Yes, there are places where people can go and get coats, but many are very ashamed to go and ask, and that hurts my heart. This project would allow them to have access to the clothing they need without them feeling embarrassed. It could very well change someone's life, just knowing that someone in our community cared that much about them in their time of struggle, even if it's just as little as a coat. In the closet, there would be more than just coats. There would be hats, gloves, blankets, fuzzy socks, and hand warmers. And with farther donations, there could be more. This This project would target a wide range of people, from young children to elders. Some of the ideas I had for obtaining the coats and other materials are from donations from the community or thrift stores. We could do a coat drive a couple times a year or ask for donations through sponsors or donors from our community. Last week, my mom and I were talking. She said that in Rapid City, South Dakota, there is a large homeless or low-income families. Down on the main streets, there are statues of different presidents or famous people. Some of the people down there dress them up with coats, hats, gloves, and more. They do this a couple times a year. Everything is donated by the community or churches. This would show that it would work in our community. I suggest that we put the coat closet right next to the food pantry at Soldotna Montessori, because it is already an established location that many people already know about. Then the word would get quickly around the community. All the supplies for building parts would be donated. I propose that the wood shop and my school would make the closet as shown in the picture. In conclusion, I believe that if our community worked together, we can make this dream into a reality. This project would help countless people's lives. So thank you for your time and consideration. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, judges, do you have some questions for contestant number 500? Brad?
Yeah, great idea. I do like the comment that you made with working with your mom and finding out, so it's part of the thing, include the low income. One suggestion I have is, I know a lot of your presentation was focused on homeless. You know, give it some thought to opening up to anybody. Because there's an awful lot of people on the Kenai Peninsula that are low income, but not homeless. And so I just something to think about. It sounds like your mom had already said something about it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I actually was thinking that it could just be more than homeless, but like everybody in our community, just so that they can go without having to ask. They can just get it and don't have to feel embarrassed.
Any other questions? Ben?
I just wanted to comment that I think it's a great idea.
Into your microphone, Ben. That's the microphone, right. Lean forward and talk into the microphone.
Thank you, how's that?
Okay, okay.
I just wanted to comment that I think it's a great idea, and in your writing, you talk about pairing it with the food bank. And I'm at the food bank sometimes weekly, and you see people come in, they need the clothing. So I think it's a great idea to pair that with the food bank, to work with them to get this set up there. Pretty good movement.
Okay, thank you.
Peter?
Yeah, thank you. I think it's a great idea, and I like the idea of adding it to make it easy for low-income people as well that aren't homeless. My experience and my personally got a closet full, a half garage full of old coats that I'd like to donate. The easier you make it, like if you collect it at the school and we're dropping our kids off, or at other community events, I think it'd be a really great way for people to say, oh, well, that's today. I think I'll grab these 2 boxes and bring them in. So have you thought about what collection would look like?
I was thinking like coat drives at school or maybe donations from thrift stores, because I've been in there and they don't always sell all their coats.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people like us, we have a lot of coats in our closets that we don't use. So we could ask the schools if they were willing to put boxes up that we could donate in, or people could donate to the food bank, or just bring it to the closet without even having to be asked.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Peggy, your question.
I want to thank you for really preserving the dignity of people. It's hard to ask, so first of all, thank you. If it were where the current location is that you have not partnered with somebody, how would you keep it organized? Have you thought about keeping it organized and making sure everything's kind of easily on hangers or folded or ongoing care of that spot?
Well, like at the Soldotna Montessori, they have a Facebook page, so we could do it through that. And I was thinking probably folded, because it'd be a little neater than hanging it. But that's a very good question.
And then volunteers to check on it.
Yes, volunteers. Like with the Facebook page, they have a volunteer page on there, and that's what I was also thinking.
All in, all done. We're out of time. This is number 5. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, just
Please.
real quick comment. Everybody asked questions I was gonna ask, but my office is right across from that food pantry, it's about Montessori, and I see the volume of people in and out, dropping off and picking up, and the idea of something right there, I think it'd be great. I think it'd be high volume of people looking there as well. So great idea. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Big round of applause for number 500. And to my finalists that are out there in the audience, you all have an order of appearance. I'd like you being out there watching, but when you're on deck, that means you're the next person in line. Please go out in the hallway and meet with Samantha. If you have any needs, just to be sure that everything's ready for you so we can move along as quickly as possible. The judges are now marking their scores, and we are going to bring out our next contestant. Want the judges to see all that? Maybe we'll bring it up downstage a little bit more so that the judges can see it. You know, grab that end and we'll just go down. There it is. Everything else is set for you? Okay, timekeeper, here we go.
Good afternoon. Over the past 30 years, our town has proudly maintained a successful recycling system thanks to the multi-million-dollar baler at our local landfill. This machine has played a pivotal role in properly processing cardboard, plastics, and aluminum. However, as many of you know, or maybe if you don't know, this vital equipment is now unoperational, and the borough estimates it may take up to 2 years to replace. In the meantime, our recycling rates have plummeted, and the majority of waste cardboard is now being sent to landfills. When I was first introduced to this problem, I didn't realize how much of an impact this had on the environment and community. As of lately, my dad has had to remind me to throw out the cardboard and plastics I use rather than recycle them as usual. This is not just a logistical problem, it's an environmental crisis. When cardboard decomposes in landfills, it releases methane, a greenhouse gas that is 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. Methane is the second largest contributor to global warming and a key precursor to the tropospheric ozone, a harmful toxin responsible for approximately 1 million premature respiratory deaths globally each year. If we want to keep our community safe and healthy, we must act now to reduce the amount of cardboard waste entering our community. Today, I present to you an initiative and practical solution, transforming cardboard boxes into planters. This is simple yet impactful idea offers multiple benefits for both our community and the environment. So I'm sure many of you are wondering, why planters? First, turning cardboard into planters directly addresses the issue of waste decomposition. By repurposing cardboard instead of discarding it, we can significantly reduce the amount of methane released into the atmosphere. Fewer greenhouse gases means less global warming and improved air quality for all. Second, this project promotes sustainability in an accessible way. Cardboard planters are affordable, easy to make, and household friendly. Imagine if every household in Soldotna repurposed its cardboard boxes into planters. Our landfills would be less burdened and we'd create a greener community in the process. In addition, cardboard is 100% biodegradable, meaning it naturally breaks down in soil due to microorganisms. As cardboard decomposes, it adds organic matter and carbon to the soil, improving soil structure and fertility, which supports healthy plant growth. So now you may be asking, well, if cardboard is biodegradable, doesn't that mean your planter will decompose over time? Well, the short answer is yes. Over time, your planter will decompose. However, you can easily transfer the soil and roots from your plant to a new box, creating a simple solution to this problem. Furthermore, the broken down scraps of your leftover box can be graded or chopped into smaller pieces and added back into the soil of your original plant. This idea offers a practical way to recycle materials, enrich soil, and reduce environmental impact, all while supporting healthy plant growth. This project, the benefits extend beyond waste reduction. Plants grown in these cardboard planters can actively improve air quality by removing harmful chemicals like formaldehyde and benzene from indoor spaces. A NASA study even found that houseplants can help clean indoor air by filtering out toxins while producing fresh oxygen. Additionally, soil in potted plants contributes to this purification process. By creating your own planter, you can make it look however you choose, from painting and drawing on them to even creating your own structural design. This idea is also generally kid-friendly and is easy for most ages. This is an example of mine that I made, and clearly I did not make it pretty or color it whatsoever, and it's from an Amazon box that was delivered to my home about a week ago, but clearly it's functional and it's affordable. Now, how it works. The process is simple. Cardboard boxes are collected through donations or community drives. Volunteers, students, staff members, or residents reshape these boxes into planters. Soil is added to each planter to grow plants that benefit both homes and public spaces. And if your planter starts to break down, change the box and put leftover cardboard scraps in soil. This initiative could even be introduced as a school-based community service project. With a modest budget of $40 for materials like staplers, scissors, and soil, we could create 40 planters, each one reducing waste in our landfills while fostering environmental awareness among participants. Other possible ways to spread this information includes presentations around the school district and classrooms, pop-up at community events and stores around town, distributing flyers, and social media shout-outs.
Okay, number 592, we're going to take questions now, but you're out of time. And judges, let's ask her some questions.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Very, very interesting. Just wondering if you were in contact with any of the greenhouses or nurseries to talk through your idea and see if they get on board.
I haven't contacted them yet, but I'll put that into consideration.
And Brad.
Sure, great idea. Growing up in a household with a father who was made cardboard boxes for a living and kind of a cardboard expert. And I can assure you, I don't know if you've looked into all cardboard is not the same.
Yeah.
And the question I have is, depending on the type of cardboard collected, have you considered the lifespan of each of a planter?
From what I've looked into, I was thinking probably about 2 months before it fully is unstable to actually keep holding the soil. And then once you can find a new box for that soil, then you can put the cardboard back in the soil of the new box with the plant.
Other questions, judges? All in, all done?
Merrill, I've got a question.
Go ahead, Peter.
I really appreciate that you went to the landfill. I read your essay, and I really appreciate the research you did with borough staff as we deal with this thing, because it gives us some pretty good ideas. I like the idea of the greenhouse thing because they don't need something to contain the plant for very long. So it'd be really interesting in, the smaller containers for starts. And I have done spaghetti gardening. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's when you put layers of paper to recycle and cardboard to recycle in the bed with the plants. So that's something to think about as well, as you might put something together to educate people on how they can use boxes in their gardening today, because it wasn't my idea, but I'm married and happily and would like to stay that way. So we will probably do additional lasagna gardening, but it's something, other ways you can share ideas on how people can utilize their cardboard.
Anybody else? Okay, that'll do it for number 592. Be sure the judges all have the scores in the right place. Big round of applause. Maybe we should have compost burials. Use the cardboard boxes for. That's a real thing. They really is. And I think the future is in compost burial. Yep. Okay, we have our next contestant is going to be number 541. Judges, be sure you're on number 541. Okay. We'll get you set up though. You want to set that here? just so they can see it, okay? And again, contestants, if you're on deck, please meet Samantha out in the hall. Thank you for that, Heidi. I need somebody out in the audience with that viewpoint. Now are the judges ready?
Question, could we move this mic? I'm looking right to that mic.
The mic stand?
Presenter. Thank you so much.
Better view? Okay. If the judges are ready, and of course, if you're ready, we'll have our timekeeper. What?
Can I adjust this?
Can you take it away?
No, I mean just how do I adjust it? I don't want to like pull too hard and like break it or something. So that's perfect. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, we're ready. Let's go.
I want you to picture a healthy forest. What do you see? I imagine it's lush and green, full of vibrant, growing vegetation, with a healthy balance of plants, animals, and insects. Living on the Kenai, we're surrounded by nature and wildlife. One of these is, of course, our largest wilderness friend, the Alaskan moose. As a keystone species, they play a huge role in keeping our ecosystems healthy. Even though their most common threats are predators like bears and wolves, there's something much smaller that has the ability to impact them in a big way, and that's invasive insects. Here is one example that I found through my research. The amber-marked birch leaf miner can destroy up to 90% of a tree's leaves. Spotted in Anchorage in the 90s, it is now found on much of the Kenai Peninsula. Another invasive insect I researched is called the forest tint caterpillar. They have been found in Anchorage before several times. This insect is another invasive that causes heavy damage to trees. So small, what's the harm? If you take a look at this slide, you can see that the impact of invasive insects can be very visible in our forests. Moose aren't picky, but according to John Krause at the Kenai Moose Research Center, moose avoid foraging on trees that are heavily infested. So, what's our goal? Healthy habitats equals healthy moose. On the other hand, moose that are malnourished can be aggressive. So, we want happy, healthy, well-fed moose. According to Jesse Moan, an entomologist with the Forest Service, there are several steps they take to remove invasive species. They use methods like trapping and aerial surveys before they work to remove them with either chemical or biological control agents. If you take a look at the slide here, you can see an example of a wasp that is used to control the amber-marked birch leaf miner. But what can community members do? There's a lot of insects, so how can we identify invasives and possibly report them? Well, there's an app for that. Here's a few different apps people can download onto their devices to help identify a number of insects. When you're out on our community trails, fishing, hiking, or camping, try to notice any signs of infestation and document what you see. This information can be shared with places like Alaska Invasive Species or even Fish and Game, who also has an online reporting site. You can also volunteer with local programs like the Kenai Watershed Forum and KP SISMA. Now, on to my solution. The Moose Mush. The Moose Mush will be a series of 2 5K cross-country ski races and 2 5K fat bike races. Each race would cost $15, plus we would also accept any donations as well. I emailed Terry Nettles at CPGH, and they would like to help sponsor my race series. So I'm really excited about that. All proceeds from registration fees would go to both the Kenai Watershed Forum to help support their work on invasive species, as well as the Salteshi Trails Association to help with things like trail maintenance and expansions. The cost to set up each race could actually be free with volunteers and community sponsors for snacks and drinks and door prizes. ACS is already mailing several prizes to use in this race this winter. Here are some race course maps that could potentially work. The ski races are much easier to set up. For the fat bike races, one would be on the Slycock Trails, and one would be on the Centennial Loop Trail in Soldotna. I emailed Joel Todd of Soldotna Parks and Recreation, and he said that Centennial Loop Trail will work just fine for a race. That course could also be very accessible to a lot of different fitness levels and ages. Of course, my main goal with this race series is to help educate and involve the community. So I designed this pamphlet, it's down here somewhere, that kind of sums up my project and provides resources on how people can play a role and even a couple invasive insects to be on the lookout for. I also think it would be great to give out stickers that people can put on their water bottles that says, "The Moose Mush, icing out invasive insects." To wrap up the Moose Mush, I think it would be a great event that could bring the community together. It would educate people on the importance of protecting our forests and wildlife from the impacts of invasive insects. I'm interested in studying science in college, and this could get more young people interested in a future career in science or conservation. And since moose are out there every day of the year, it'll be on people's minds even when there's no bugs out. Thank you for listening to my idea.
Yay, a biker. Okay, judges, questions, please.
First off, thank you for thinking of the Kenai Watershed Forum. I think it's a great idea. As you know, we do a similar event in the summer to raise awareness for invasive plants. And I think this is awesome because invasive insects are sort of off everyone's radar. But as we see warming climates, we see insects really starting to take hold. So thank you for that. And great work on getting sponsors. That's super helpful. I love this project and would be willing to help facilitate that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Will you enter the race?
Yeah, I would.
Okay. He said it. He's on the record. Brad, do you have a question?
Nope.
Ben? Well, you were looking at me, so I thought maybe you had a question.
No, it was already covered. I think it's a good idea to collaborate with regard to the insects and the invasive plants, and we covered that. And I think that's great. I think that, getting together and putting all that energy in one place would be a good thing.
Yeah.
Peter? I know you're not a fat biker.
I am a fat biker. I'm not
Fat
sure.
tire, I'm sorry.
Not sure why you, yeah, well, I'm one of those things. I'm also a tree hugger. I'm like the only conservative Republican tree hugger on the planet. But we recently lost our entire forest due to spruce bark beetle. And then we live in a nice place with lots of trees, and we like trees. So I've been thinking about what to replant because I don't feel like waiting 40 years for the. So we've been looking at different native trees that aren't going to be susceptible, but it's interesting to learn about the birch impact. So have you thought about suggesting as part of your program trees that are less susceptible to, and I like what you're saying, the forest will regenerate. We lived through the last spruce bark thing, but as part of your program, have you thought about suggesting trees that are better options in spite of some of these invasive insects?
I have not thought of that just yet, but great suggestion. Thank you. I will get behind that. That is something I can get behind. Hopefully the community could help with that, everything, volunteers.
Sure. Thank you.
I'd like to see some palm trees planted. That would. Any other questions? All in, all done. Okay, let's give a big round of applause to number 541. Thank you. Good job. I do hold a world record, though, and this is true. I am the only stationary bike instructor in the world to have ever fallen off a stationary bike. And I wasn't drinking, no. Okay, it happened when I was stretching. Okay, we are moving along right now, waiting for the judges to give us the nod. Thank you, Samantha and Hadassah. Coming out, number 280, and take a look at the stage. Be sure you have everything you need. Is the microphone where you like it? Should we lower it a little bit?
Probably.
Are the computers ready? Okay, then. This is number 280. Take it away.
You all remember or have heard of the Exxon Valdez oil spill, a tragedy that swept Southeast Alaska in 1989. An estimated 11 million gallons of crude oil was dumped into the ocean. The spill led to the loss of precious resources and animals. About 1.9 million pink salmon perished, and the population suffered a 28% reduction. The Oil Pollution Act of 1990 was passed due to the spill, but it still took several years to clean up. Because of that oil spill, people realized that they had to prepare for the future, as oil was needed more and more every day, especially since we live in such a vulnerable environment that shares hundreds of miles of coastline. But what hasn't been done yet is something that regular people can access immediately, without calling harbor officials first. Yes, this idea is centered around the minor spills that take place in harbors, specifically Homer Harbor, and awareness of how a little oil spillage can have a big effect. It helps prepare the public with how to properly handle oil removal from the ocean in the event of a big oil spill. Cleaning up oil the bystander way allows ordinary people to take action themselves. It also helps with accountability. If a minor spill happens, it can be taken care of within minutes instead of letting the film drift along the harbor. Inside the boxes, there will be oil absorbent and water repellent pads, gloves, and trash bags. These boxes will also be built to withstand the harsh weather conditions Alaska is accustomed to. However, they do cost money to build. The construction of one box with a height of 18 inches and a width of 12 will cost about $47.89. The boxes are designed to hold up to 75 oil absorbent and water repellent pads, costing $59.99 per order of 100. The gloves cost $9.99 per 100 gloves, and the trash bags would cost $11.37 per 30 bags. The total would add up to be around $129.24. Although this is a large sum of money, I plan on applying for a grant, and I'm actively looking for one that will specifically fit the needs of my project. The United States Environmental Protection Plan offers many that will deal with oil prevention and spills. And if you're thinking there's already precautions put in Homer Harbor, the answer is yes. Homer Harbor has 20 yellow drums on floats that contain oil-absorbent boom, pads, trash bags, and string, but it's only available to the officials of the harbor and licensed operators, as the precautions are left waiting for the event of a big oil spill that we hope will never happen. Instead, we need to deal with the little ones first. And now I draw your attention to the screen displaying the precise location of the Bystander Way boxes. Each red arrow will be a Bystander Way box. The boxes are put in strategic positions at the end of each ramp leading onto the docks. At the end of each ramp, there will be buildings or covers built, making mounting the boxes easy and simple. At those locations, all boat operators and pedestrians will pass them to get to their boats. It is a priority that they are noticeable and accessible. Also, the building bubble bath appearing in harbors needs to be addressed. Instead of cleaning up the minor oil spills that happened, the soap that you used to wash the dinner dishes is now being used as a cover-up for spills. Dawn dish soap's properties can separate oil from water and break it down, while at the same time giving the appearance that it's just run off freshly washed boats. No harm, no foul. Except it does cause harm. Dawn dish soap may be advertised to be animal safe. When it bubbles up on the surface, ingestion by animals like otters and birds become a problem. It also may be used to wash oil off animals, but it's not meant to be in our oceans. It can cause severe gill damage, which can lead to the suffocation of fish. And with our Alaskan salmon populations declining, we need to look for a quick and feasible solution. The solution starts at the root of the problem. So stop the spills before they turn into a mess of soapy sludge or a rainbow covering the harbors that eventually leaks out into the oceans. When you see oil in the water, clean it up quickly and effectively with the Bystander Way. Take action before it causes more harm to our fragile ecosystems and our precious Alaskan way of life. Thank you.
Okay, judges, Q&A time. Questions? Brad?
Yeah, great topic. I spent a lot of time on saltwater, and there are on the Kenai Peninsula a lot of harbors that you are well aware of. Have you given any idea about setting up some information on the houses that tells you where that throw it in the trash bag after you used it?
I have not, but that is a really good idea, and I could definitely look into that.
Good job, thanks.
Peggy?
I love your idea. I'm curious, what sparked this idea for you?
My family and I, we love to walk the docks, like after Sundays, after church, and I'll occasionally see oil drifting, and like I don't like seeing it on all the animals because it really makes me sad, and I'd really like to remove that.
Peter?
Yeah, I really like this idea as well. I fish for a partial living and spent a lot of time in the harbors. Have you thought about adding bilge care to your program where, so when I'm done fishing, I save my wife's detergent plastic bottles, and I have a little pump for sucking out the top of my bilge, which is where all the oil's on the surface. 'Cause that's where a lot of it is from. Very little of it is from fuel. It's usually from when bilge pumps kick on for inboard or inboard outboard engines, just the bilge empties just a little bit at a time. And I think every little bit makes a difference. So it might be worth considering adding some bilge care instruction. I just take it home with me and I don't look for a place to put it just as I'm unloading the boat. On your boxes, I think that's a good idea, but those little black and yellow plastic ones are much less expensive. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
I think they're like $8 on sale, and they're waterproof. And if you mount them at an angle, they won't get water on top of them. Just a couple things to think about. I love the idea. So I actually put some thought into how can we avoid most of the spills, and what would be better than wood, which will eventually leak. So it'd bring your cost down pretty substantially as well. So not really a question, but it proves how much I love your idea. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Time for one quick more question? If not, all in, all done. Go to your score, and let's give her a big round of applause. Number 280, great job. Peter, where in the world do you find time to commercial fish?
I'll find a lot this year.
5 ladies in the house, right?
Yes.
2 bathrooms?
That's why I leave a lot.
That's right. Okay, it's time for our next person to come out here and get set up as the judges are marking their scores for our last contestant. Do you need anything on stage? Okay, we'll get that nice and low for you. There you go. You're the fastest. Yeah. I do this. But I could still set it a typewriter and type 72 words a minute without making a mistake. But I can't sit down at a computer and not make a mistake. As soon as my hand hits the keyboard, I've done something wrong. That's the way we're trained. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of the party. We did that sentence over and over again. It makes every keystroke you have. Now you can't make a keystroke without it. And then it doesn't like what you said, so it's going to put its own word in there, right? Okay. I know I'm old. Are you guys all ready? Everybody ready for the next score? Our next contestant number is 446. So let's bring her out with a big round of applause and see what she's got going. Magnet Masters.
Magnet Masters Fishing Derby. The problem. In the last decade, the number of lithium-ion batteries disposed of worldwide has increased from 10,700 tons in 2012 to 250,000 tons in 2020. Due to the rising accessibility of phones, smartwatches, and other battery-powered devices, it is estimated that the number of disposed batteries will continue to increase. Heavy metals and lithium-ion batteries are known to be toxic to humans and wildlife, and exposure to these pollutants can cause serious health problems. Fish die due to the toxicity all around the world. If lithium ions and metals are present in rivers, the water will seep into the ground. Once groundwater is contaminated, the pollutants can spread, potentially contaminating wells and drinking water supplies. In attempting to find information on the estimated number of batteries in the Kenai River, I discovered very little data available. A goal is to gather more information that would be used by Kenai River Sport Fishing Association, Alaska Fishing Game, as well as other organizations. The solution. My solution is a magnet fishing derby. Magnet fishing has pulled up thousands of pounds of metal each year. The steps that I have taken to help me make this magnet derby possible are as follows. For the materials I need for this project, I have reached out to a company called Brute Magnetics, a leading retailer of premium fishing magnets, grappling hooks, gloves, and magnet fishing supplies and accessories. They have a 1,200-pound double-sided magnet fishing set that would be ideal for pulling along the bottom of the river and can pick up metals from both sides of the magnet. They agreed to not only sponsor this project, but also give us a 15% discount on each set that we would buy for the participants. The cleanup and disposal aspect of this event will be planned and monitored very closely. To dispose of these magnets and metals, there will be collection points at 4 Kenai Soldotna boat launches. Any batteries collected will be cataloged and disposed of according to the Kenai Peninsula Borough's Hazardous Waste Collection Program. Any other items collected will be disposed of per the Solid Waste Disposal Guidance. I have consulted with a local law enforcement officer about safety procedures, asking him about the dangers of this project, such as picking up scissors, knives, and firearms. He gave me a couple of steps to take in case this happens. If we are ever in a situation that needs officers, they will be available to assist. I'm looking forward to not only working with Brute Magnetics, but also with local businesses and organizations. I'm especially excited to work with the Kenai River Sport Fishing Association. I contacted them, and they let me know that they would be happy to supply prizes and potentially help get the word out about this unique community event. This event could be a great way to gather people together and help clean up the Kenai River. Of course, after the fish counts go down. Thank you for your time.
Who's up first for some questions?
What a great idea. The river's very crowded during the summer, so what season are you targeting for this event?
Just August, I think, once the fishing season kind of wraps up.
Anybody else? Questions? Maggie?
Have you thought about the height of the river water? So depending on what month it is, there's different levels of water, so it might be easier to retrieve things from the water, depending on how fast it's flowing.
Yeah, so in my research, it's pretty 20 feet-ish, the average. So I kind of thought about the rope in that set is about 20 feet.
Clayton?
Thank you. So we have a spring cleanup that we do in a sort of collaboration with the Sport Fishing Association. And as you're talking about this, I thought how much fun students would have, 10 or older, coming out and doing something like that with that rope and the magnets when the water's lower. But have you thought about going to schools to see if they'd be interested in participating?
I haven't thought about that, but that's a great suggestion. These flyers would help get the word out about it.
Magnetics. Anybody else? Have you ever thought of that, Trent?
No, and I'm really impressed by this idea, and even more impressed that I didn't even think of weapons or anything like that. It's wow, yeah, I guess could be a concern. So great job covering that.
I mean, you got a great magnetic personality, so maybe we could just in the way.
I participate.
Anybody else? All in, all done. Let's give a big round.
Was to number 446.
Thank you.
Good job. And just for the judge's information, because I don't believe I included this in the briefing, but you see notepads there next to your computer. Because everything is random, and you start with your first score, by the time you get to the number 12, you might want to change some of those scores. That's what the notepad is there for, so that you may make notes and refresh your memory, and you will be given time to go back in and finalize your scores or change them at the end of all 12 presentations. And we have our next contestant coming out on stage, number 368. I can remember when I was 55. Yeah. Okay, do you have that where all the judges can see it? Maybe angle it a little bit this way. That's good. Is the microphone where you like it? Bring it up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, judges, are you all ready? Okay, timekeeper, get underway.
All right. So I wanted to start by thanking everyone in this room for giving me this opportunity to express my idea. Everyone on watching this live, thank you. All right. Driving on icy roads can be dangerous, especially when people go too fast for the conditions. Many accidents occur on Alaskan highways due to unpredictable weather. Electronic speed signs that adjust based on road conditions can significantly help reduce these accidents, particularly on the Kenai Peninsula. These signs would inform drivers of hazardous conditions, forcing them to slow down and drive more cautiously. This increased awareness can make drivers feel more comfortable and relaxed. Alaska's weather can change rapidly, leading to conditions like ice, fog, and heavy snow that contribute to accidents. There are over 536,000 crashes in the U.S. each year due to icy roads. Current speed signs don't alert drivers about dangerous weather, but electronic speed signs can provide timely warnings about issues like low visibility during winter storms. They help drivers react appropriately and adjust their speed, promoting safer traffic flow. While the government has taken steps to improve safety, like salting roads, issuing warnings, these measures aren't enough. They don't enforce safe driving practices and are often ignored by experienced drivers. Implementing electronic speed signs could lead to fewer accidents, which would reduce burden on emergency responders and potentially lower taxes, as fewer resources would be spent on emergency services. These signs have already proven effective in other parts of the U.S. A University of Wyoming study showed that this is true by taking the number of road closures before and after the signs were installed. The experiment concluded that road closures decreased and crashes reached the lowest level in a decade. These signs work by lowering speed limits in 10-mile-per-hour increments when conditions are unsafe, which helps drivers adjust their speed according to the changing environment. I think if we were to ignore this issue, it would likely lead to more accidents over time. And each crash carries the risk of injury or death, which can have long-lasting effects on individuals and their families. In summary, electronic speed signs could greatly benefit Alaskan drivers by improving safety and reducing accidents. By installing these signs, we can create a safer driving experience on Alaska's challenging highways, benefiting the community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Judges, Q&A.
Trent, yeah, this is fascinating. Is the sign a smart sign, like it detects the weather and changes on its own, or is it programmed by weather supervisors?
My idea is we would have people who would go out and then be able to send a message to the sign to change based on the weather.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Brent? Sure, great idea. I like it. And sort of Trent's question was if you've given any thought on who would be responsible for changing the signs, because being a frequent traveler between Salat and Homer, I can tell you that Milkshakes always is different weather pattern than the rest of the system. And for the frequency, and have you given any thought to how many signs you'd actually need on the Kenai Peninsula?
So about people who change the signs, I haven't fully thought about that yet, but I was thinking there could be people in the community, people of the government who could go and do that. And then, sorry, can you repeat your other question?
The second one, if you get any idea how many signs you would need on the Kenai Peninsula.
Okay, yeah, I was reading a article, and in other states, they had them placed every 6 miles, and it seemed to be working very, very good.
Thank you.
Lower taxes, Peter, singing your song.
That's right. It could actually link to the 511 center. So as they're taking road conditions, signs that had a signal could be changed remotely. What would you do with signs that do not have a cell signal of any kind?
I'm not sure about that just yet, but in the future, I could definitely find out a way. And also, yeah, in the future, I'd definitely. Thank you.
You bet. Yes, Caitlin.
So I came up with your idea. Since this is electric, what is it going to be?
What did you?
As in, like, if there's like a power outage, would these
Get a little
signs-
closer to your mic.
As in, if there's like a power outage, would these signs still be on?
Yes, I was looking online, and you can get solar-powered signs, and they do not require much sunlight at all to keep them powered throughout winter and summer.
Okay, not seeing any other questions. Give a big round of applause. Safety first always, right, Bruce? That's right. Thank you. Coming down the home stretch now. Our next contestant is number 418. Are the judges ready? Look, still entering scores. Okay, already? Okay, this is number 418. Take it away.
As a new driver, I have had to take on a few extra chores, including bringing trash to the dump. When I have visited, there has been something that has caught my eye multiple times, and that is the amount of tires I've seen at the dump. So I came up with a proposal to try and fix this. The tires shown in the photos are taken from the construction and demolition debris cells at the Central Peninsula Landfill and the Homer Transfer Facility. In both photos, there is a common object shown to be taking up space: tires. You may not realize, but tires take up a lot of space. They are difficult to compact due to their rubber structure, causing them to keep their shape. After compaction, the tires almost float to the surface, as you can see in the bigger photo. The space that's being used up by these tires means there is less space for other things that need to go into the dump. These photos don't do justice to the true amount of tires being dumped each year. Over 10,000 tires are disposed of each year in the borough. The main cause for this large number is quite simple. Here in Alaska, we have severe winter weather and need to have winter tires to keep us safe on the roads. But when winter is over, we have to switch to our summer tires. And with about 183,260 registered cars in Alaska, there are a lot of tire changes across the state, but here on the peninsula as well. Winter tires wear out faster due to softer material needed for traction on the icy roads, which means more miles are also spent on the winter tires because of the climate. To help save landfill space, I propose the purchasing of a tire shredder for the CPL, or the Central Peninsula Landfill. After doing some research, I have found that both the Anchorage's Eagle River Landfill and Matsu's landfill have tire shredders. Tire shredders reduce the tire size and allows for a greater amount of compaction. These tire shreds can be used instead of just compaction if needed. They are a good alternative to drain rock used at landfill along stormwater ditches and even as a project fill, where most drain rock is used. I reviewed several different manufacturers of tire shredders and would recommend one very similar to the tire shredders purchased from BSI by the Anchorage and Matsu boroughs. To purchase a tire shredder will cost $750,000 from BSI. This may be a lot, but Anchorage and Matsu also have BSI shredders, and having the same type of shredder allows for the exchange of critical spares and parts to be easier and less costly. Though not only can this type of shredder handle tires, but can also handle brush and will eliminate the need to burn it. The shredded brush can also be used as a cover material in daily operations. However, there are a few drawbacks in the use of a tire shredder. And their desire to get one. There are several ways to pay for this tire shredder, including to appropriate money from the KPB Assembly or the Kenai Peninsula Borough, apply for grants, or to partner with community members or local businesses. The ultimate goal of this is to reduce the airspace used by tires and can reduce the purchase of drain rock, saving taxpayers money. Thank you.
Questions?
What a great idea. I believe shredded tires can be used for other things as well. Have you thought about other applications for the rubber mulch?
Yes, tire shreds can also be used in playground equipment
and rubber shingles, but the only thing is you have to remove the metal from them, which is a whole separate process, but not impossible to do. So it does have multiple other abilities.
Who's next? Brad. Sure, like Bruce, I love this idea, and I think it's a really good one. And I like the fact that you brought up, you talked to Anchorage and Matsu to see that, to align with the same product that they're using. So if something breaks, maybe long lead times that are typical in Alaska, we can just run to one of our neighboring boroughs and borrow some of their parts that are needed. And have you taken any time to talk to them about, are they operated by a single operator and they're still a high maintenance item?
Ian Goodwin, who I talked to, and also James Armstrong in Anchorage, said it's only one person who needed to run it and took very little training for that, and that most parts were just the shredding, the things that do the shredding themselves, and not a big major component. So it would be something smaller and not too costly if we did need to pay.
And just one adder, I really like the fact that you brought up mulching wood as well. I think earlier somebody, maybe it's Peter, that mentioned the spruce bark problem within the peninsula. Man, if you could use that to shred spruce bark, as well as tires, it'd be really a big advantage for landfill.
You can also handle brush, as I mentioned, which helps with topsoil, because every day they have to fill 6 inches over the trash to keep diseases and birds away. So branches, brush, all of that can very much so help.
Trent, you're wiggling that pencil.
Yeah, I apologize if I missed it. Did you mention, or do you know, if you take the volume of a whole tire and you grind it down, what is the needle? Like, what's that volume? It's gotta be huge.
Yeah, it is. For about one tire, you could probably get about 2 to 3 pounds, space-wise, of the tire shreds. But it is something that is also sold at stores. So you can also see that how many tires are in each bag when you shred it.
Cool, thanks.
Mr. Mayor.
It's a great idea. I like it very much. I think it'd be very useful. That is definitely a space reduction exercise that's very well needed. So thanks for bringing it forward.
Anybody else? Ben? Peggy?
Just it's a question, I don't know the answer to this. If it was used for drain rock, do tires have anything that leach out of them that would leach into just the surrounding watersheds, plants, or anything like that?
No, it would not. It would keep its shape, even though it has been cut down to a smaller size. All the materials would still be there. Nothing would come out of that.
Okay, let's shred them up. Round of applause for number 418.
Okay, and while our judges are putting in their scores, we can bring our next contestant out, get the stage all set for her. Need anything else on stage? You're all set? Okay. Is the microphone where you like it? Bring it up a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring it to like here. I think that's. I'm not gonna break, am I? Okay. Thank you.
Judges all ready? Okay, here we go. Number 470.
Good evening, everyone. Today, I would like to propose an idea to you that would not only drastically improve the environment, but save thousands of lives on the Kenai Peninsula and potentially worldwide. My presentation will be covering the dangers of black ice and how to prevent its formation. Black ice is a type of glaze ice. It forms in freezing temperatures below 32 degrees when pavement is wet. This invisible killer causes 2,000 deaths and nearly 135,000 accidents annually on average in the US. The ice itself is a clear invisible glaze, with the asphalt giving off the illusion of the ice being black, hence the name. The current solution we're using to prevent black ice is a mixture of water and 23.3% sodium chloride. It's a salt brine solution that the Department of Transportation uses on our roads. While doing my research, I found out that the salt brine solution is not only destroying and polluting our ecosystems, but is also the cause of many other issues in our community, including the following. Attracts wildlife and increases collision risks. It's toxic to animals, contaminates water, increases soil erosion, causes rust buildup on important safety features like brakes and airbags, and causes potholes. And as you can see here, I've included two photos. One of them is a picture of a moose licking off the salt brine that somebody's tires collected. And the second photo is actually the underside of my dad's truck. The consequences of the salt brine solution are actually more detrimental to the environment than black ice itself. We need to consider how we can improve on our choices to minimize damages going forward. My solution to this issue is an asphalt mix that's less susceptible to ice formation. Though there are many different ways we could go about solving this issue, I found that the best solution would be to use a material called graphene nanoplatelets. Graphene nanoplatelets are carbon atoms in hexagonal lattice structure. Its characteristics would be a game changer to preventing ice formation, with its key characteristics including lightweight mechanical properties, great thermal and electrical conductivities, together with low cost and easy manufacturing. Graphene sheets increase the melting rate of ice molecules and reduce the freezing rate of water molecules. Therefore, this material will melt black ice from the core instead of using the polluting salt on top. I came up with 3 steps to executing my plan, starting off with number 1, creating this modified asphalt mix. Now, I'm no scientist, but I've done my research, and the only reason I could find for why we haven't used this material is because it's new technology. But from my research, graphene-enhanced asphalt has been successfully tested on a public road in Teesside, Northeast England, promising us a new future for our roads. Step 2 consists of slowly implementing this new mix into our roads. Now, I'm not saying we go out there and we rip out all of our perfectly undamaged asphalt, but I think the best idea would be to slowly implement this new mix into our roads when it needs repairing instead. Additionally, we should be utilizing nanoplatelets in the new roads that we are constructing. Step 3 would be to hopefully implement this mix, hopefully expand the use of this mix worldwide. This superior mix could potentially be a life-saving fix that would benefit not just our community, but everywhere that it's desperately needed as well. The future of our roads lies within the choices we make today, so let's pave the way towards a more economical and sustainable future together. Thank you.
Okay, judges, you have any questions? Brad?
Sure, great. Two questions for you. Just some ideas to think about. One is, I know you had mentioned this is already being tested overseas. Are there any other snow or ice states in the lower 48 that are doing this as well?
So at the moment, the only research I could find on areas that nanoplatelets have been tested on, I know they've done it in Minnesota State University, but that was about all the information I could find. Everywhere else is in different continents.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question, just to give a, maybe you said it and I missed it while I was writing. Have you done any analysis of the economics of using the salt brine versus these platelets?
So I myself have not done any like visual, like any personal comparison between these two, but from research between seeing the salt brine effects on vehicles in different parts of the economy compared to the research I've done from nanoplatelets, I've found that they would increasingly make the environment a much better place, and it's a clean way to source heat to melt black ice off of the roads.
Anybody else? Mr. Mayor, I know you've heard some complaints about the brine.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited that you're thinking about the overall cost. Sometimes governments become somewhat myopic and they look at just the cost to the government and not the cost to the society as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like the idea. I don't know a lot about it. I'd like to learn more, but the cost of brine overall, it's cheaper for the Department of Transportation. But when you look at the repair bills that are associated with it, it's a different equation. So
exactly,
that would be interesting for you to make a comparison of the overall cost versus a safer compound on the highway. So yeah, it's a great project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Not seen any big round of applause. True story. I remember in 1974, I don't know when they started using brine, but in 1974, I used to ski, okay, from the cabin on the Gady 80 across the field down K Beach Road, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. No traffic. The snow was on the road, and I skied all the way to the radio station without passing a single car. Okay? That was before the bridge was opened. Okay, once they opened the bridge, but the thing is, they didn't put anything down on the road so that I could ski, right down the middle of the road. So I don't know when they started putting brine on it, but I don't remember any more accidents back then.
14.
When was it?
2014.
2014. Okay, that was 1974. There I go again, talking about how old I am. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Okay, down the home stretch. Judges marking their scores, and our next contestant on his way out, number 484. Fish on. I wonder if we have to remove any hooks. I love the signs on the Spur Highway. Hook removal. Pull in here. Doctors are advertising, taking the hooks out of people's faces. Appreciate it. Do you have everything you need?
Can we lower this a little
Here,
bit?
Laura, or you just move it point towards you a little bit?
Yeah.
Like this.
That's good.
Good. Judges all ready? Okay, sir. Cast away.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for coming to my presentation. Have you ever lost your hooks while fishing before, or even a metal tool? Well, every year there are about 400,000 people who fish on the Kenai River. If on average, those fishermen lose 2 hooks in the water every time they go fishing, this means that approximately 800,000 hooks are put in the water each year. That's a lot of metal, not even counting the other items such as knives, scissors, metal tools, and other debris. Metals of this amount can make the homes of fish severely dangerous and can cause toxicity. My idea to try and help remove these items is a magnetic fishing rod. This rod will be able to pull all the items I had just listed and even more. This rod will be able to be thrown out into rivers, reeled in, and collect metal debris. To see how this is done, please watch my video showing me and my dad testing it out and cleaning out the Kenai River at Moose Meadows. I know that video wasn't very long, but fishing with this rod is just like salmon fishing. It took around 1 hour to collect all the stuff that me and my dad found, and some of the time while I was using the rod, you will have to look for something to catch in the water, and other times you'll just be lucky. Something that I think would be great for my idea is for individuals to use it on a small or larger commercial scale in rivers where boats can drag big magnets down the river. I want these rods to be able to be used by everyone who goes fishing so they can help out. As you can see, there's a lot of metal and garbage in our rivers, and as I was using mine, I realized how much garbage there is out on our beaches and in our rivers. My rod is able to collect and pull these items from the water, but it cannot clean the beaches. Sorry. We need to come together and clean these rivers and beaches together. The rod I used was a $5 garage sale rod and a $30 fishing magnet for a total cost of $35. It takes around $300 to $400 to buy a high-end fishing rod, but this rod costs less, can clean the rivers you fish in, and can even make you money from finding valuable items. In conclusion, the magnetic fishing rod is a great thing to use for cleaning up the Kenai Peninsula rivers. Thank you for watching my presentation.
Yeah, Peggy.
I love your idea. This is really fun. I'm really curious, 2 things. What kind of knot do you have to tie on that magnet, and how heavy is it?
It was just a normal fishing line, and are you asking how heavy the objects that I pick up are being, or how heavy is the line?
I'm just even curious of how heavy the actual magnet is.
It's around like 5-7 pounds.
Any other questions? You've had a hip replacement, Ben. What would that do?
I don't think I could drag me in. I'm curious, what is the most exciting thing that you've caught?
Probably a knife. That was pretty funny to catch.
Yeah,
Clayton.
I was gonna say, yeah, what a fun idea watching your video. Like, I wouldn't have quite believed it if I hadn't seen that. And I just think back to when I used to have my kids like in spring watch, we go up and just pick up the lures on the river and all that, and how great this would have been to do that, and how neat it is for the whole watershed. So great idea, I love it. What's your idea for? I mean, maybe I missed a lot of entering the sport, but to promote it for other people to use or to purchase.
I was thinking of putting boxes around local rivers filled with these magnets and rods so that they're public to use.
Trent.
Clayton, I wrote down great stream watch project. So yeah, this is super awesome. You know, we have teams of people that go out every summer to clean up this very thing. I think these would be super helpful for them to have. So thanks for that. And it looks like there may be a Magnet Masters fishing derby that will take advantage of these rods. So yeah, see a partnership. Catch it, don't release.
Caitlin, any questions? Good. Everybody else good? Okay, creative idea. I love the originality. Give me a big round of applause. Only one more. Our final contestant is about to come out and present. Okay. That's it. That was number 484, right? Okay. Now we're up to number 520. So we have two more. Okay. So number 520, come on out. Both of you. I'm really surprised with the vacuum cleaner back there that you didn't get sucked up as a dust ball.
I couldn't put her down.
Is the microphone where you want it?
Yeah, perfect.
You're a ventriloquist, right?
That wasn't me.
No, was it? You're going to make her talk.
I don't know if I can do that.
No, you don't know if that's going to happen.
I don't know if I can do all that, but
Are you got
Try
the
my
judges
hardest.
already? Okay. That is a dog, not a dust ball. Okay, I just
we've had long
just
conversations about
just
it.
to clarify. Okay, moving nice and close to the microphone,
Okay.
and let our timer begin.
Hello, my 2025 Caring for the Kenai idea is a program called Fire Starters. Within Fire Starters, I aspire to start a fire in the next generation to follow in the footsteps of my father, sister, Chuck Roney, Chief Browning, and countless other dedicated firefighters. My goal for the next generation is to develop a burning passion for firefighting like our heroic men and women did and do now. To initiate this fire, I created Fire Starters. First, I believe explaining why I picked a program aimed at engaging youth in the fire service is important. Ever since I was young, I have always wanted to go into a profession that allows me to help others, whether it was nursing, firefighting, being a vet, or a surgeon. However, it wasn't until I was 13 when my dad started working at the fire department that my interest in firefighting truly blossomed. I got to interact with firefighters more often than others, and their selflessness ignited a spark in me for a passion for the service that led me to explore this career path myself. I was then asked to join the Explorer program, a program only once a week where I can learn and be more well-equipped for my future at the fire department. Through this, I got to experience firsthand all of the good and bad in the fire service, which opened my eyes to this amazing yet demanding profession. However, I also saw the critical need, the significant staffing shortage. I have come to realize that while so many children have a spark and dream about being a firefighter, it's so much harder to get adults passionate, physically fit, and in reality, prepared for this job at their age. Nevertheless, high school students still have that potential to discover this spark. Therefore, getting high schoolers passionate, physically fit, and prepared for this job is so crucial. Many individuals focus on the salary and don't want to put in the effort this career involves, failing to recognize how firefighting embodies the Alaska spirit. It's about caring and your heart, rather than the financial gain. As a result of this, there has been a noticeable decline in the number of individuals entering this field. The shortage forces neighboring stations to travel longer distances to reach fire scenes, resulting in delayed response times and potentially greater property damage before fires can be contained. Now imagine a world where our response times to a fire are delayed, not because of lack of equipment, but because of lack of, or shortage of brave men and women dedicated to saving lives and property. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's a challenge facing our community right now and something I will strive to change. The current staffing shortage necessitates the outreach to educate youth about the Explorer program and the increasing need for firefighters. So once I was given this opportunity to change something in the Kenai Peninsula, I immediately knew what it was. I needed to get more children excited about firefighting and wanting to join the Explorer program. With all of this in mind, I created Fire Starters. Fire Starters is designed to capture that spark in high school students. High schoolers can learn about firefighting and what we do at the Explorer program. Beginning Fire Starters will enhance recruitment for the Explorer program, which will inspire more students to consider a future in the fire department. This will in turn improve the available employee pool of potential firefighters and will enable them to fill these roles, which will lead to a reduction in overall fire response time, which will benefit the community as a whole. So puppies like this, or even humans, no longer have their lives taken sooner than needed. This annual Fire Starters event will bring firefighters directly to neighboring high schools on May 1st. The firemen will have various hands-on activities like CPR practice, rope tying, ladder climbing, and hose handling that demonstrates the excitement and skill involved in this career. These activities will go on for about an hour, then after there will be a presentation that will last roughly 30 minutes. The presentation will highlight the Explorer program and the realities of firefighting. By giving these students a taste of this profession, we can inspire them to consider the rewarding career that awaits them. Since this is only once a year, I don't see a problem in recruiting firemen. Plus, firemen love engaging in the community. I have talked to Chuck Roney, who runs the Explorer program, and he loves this idea. I also spoke to Nikki at Station 1, who helps out with events for the fire station, and she said she would love to help out beginning fire starters. Now for costs. Most of the resources can be found at the stations, but if not, anyone will donate to the fire department. Actually, people would rather donate than join the fire service. Additionally, I can spend some of the winnings towards the cost if needed. So now, in conclusion, I hope you understand this growing need for more fire responders and help me combat this issue so we can have a safer community, something that we can all agree we need. I don't think we want loved ones or our pets to have their lives ended short because of something we can easily change right now, right here. Firefighters will always be needed, so please let me make this generation of firefighters stronger, smarter, and ready for this profession. Thank you for your time listening to this idea. This is something I am truly passionate about and will continue to strive to change this growing need in our community. It's hot. Very hot.
Congratulations, Brad. It's got to be after your own heart. Did you always want to be a fireman when you grew up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I've been in the fire service for over 2 decades now. I love the idea, and maybe I missed it. And you said the Explorers meet once a week.
Yes.
How often do fire starters?
Annually once a year on May 1st.
Once a year.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you may find other support. Problem on losing personnel and getting young people interested in the fire service. I like it. We should talk. You might find some sponsorship that is good for the borough and good for our fire service areas. So
Yes, and I already have people who are really
enjoying and wanting to do this.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We need some help.
Yes, we
Sounds
do.
like you're on the way.
I want to be.
There was a time when every little boy and girl wanted to be a fireman or first responder when they grew up.
I was shocked when I, heard this data, and because I'm getting old, and I want somebody to run into my house when it's on fire or to recover me when I'm having a heart attack. Bruce, did I say a question there?
No.
You're getting older too. Clayton.
We do need people to help us out later in life, don't we, Ron? But yeah, thank you for this great presentation. I really like the idea of the obstacle course as a way to draw students into that interest and learn about the Explorer program. So you thought about going to a younger age, to elementary school?
I did think about that, and I was thinking about middle schools and stuff, but the Explorer Group program is for 14-year-olds and up. And since middle schoolers are their highest, I think, is 14, I don't think that they would be able to join the Explorer program. But I was also thinking about doing an event at the Soldotna Creek Park to show fire starters and get more people interested and not just the schools.
Terrific. I'm just thinking that sometimes you plant the seed and a few years later it comes back. But great idea.
Thank you.
Brad Whitmore? Just real quick. one suggestion, if you give any thought to quarterly instead of once a year, and I really appreciate your enthusiasm. It's hard to keep the spark in others who may not have it, and until you're a year by that time you're older, as opposed to maybe being quarterly as instead. Just a thought.
That could be possible. I'd have to talk to firemen. The only problem is firefighters are so busy now, especially because of the short staffing. There are so many firefighters that need to be there. But yeah, I will definitely try to talk and see if we can get more times to do it.
I can assure you they love to talk.
They do love to talk, I know. I talk to them quite often.
Anybody else? What does the Chihuahua want to be when she grows up?
She wants to be a fire dog. She wants to help with the fire station. Yes. We actually don't have that. They don't allow that, if you didn't know that. It's quite sad.
Grew up in the Doberman Pinscher, maybe.
Maybe.
Okay, now we're to our final contestants. We should get
And then the part you've all been waiting for are the judges' scores and where we're going to place them. And again, I want to say now, while we're getting our last contestant out here, that not only are all these kids winners, but we only place for the benefit of dividing the prize money, the top 6. The other 6 will not buy any place, but they're all runners up, and they will all get, I think it's $750 now this year. I will double check that. But is our final contestant ready? Samantha, you've been doing such a great job back there. See, I told you that dog would grow up. Evolution, it's a real thing. Okay, this is number 496, the final contestant of the evening. And that looks like some kind of a doodle.
Yeah.
It is?
Golden doodle.
A golden doodle. Well, that's
Yeah.
different than a doodle.
Yeah.
Is everybody ready? Enter the scores. Peggy's still making notes. Okay, you're good. Okay, sir, take it away.
How many of you love dogs? I know I love my dog. This is my dog, Kevin Bacon, and he likes to eat trash. If Kevin could hang out at the dump, it would be his dream come true. Trash, food, and birds to chase. What more could a dog want? But no one wants their dog hanging out at the dump, getting stinky and eating who knows what. Every day, birds fly to our community dump for an easy dinner. But the problem doesn't stay there. These birds carry trash and disease across our neighborhoods, pooping in parks, dropping plastic in playgrounds, and even spreading bacteria like E. coli to the water. Spreading disease like into our community, but they also are spreading it to each other. While doing research on this issue, I spoke with Todd Esklin, who is a wildlife biologist at the Kenai National Wildlife Refuge. He explained that eagles are not meant to congregate in big groups and do not naturally hang out together. When they are at the dump in close contact, they spread avian bird flu to each other. I learned something incredible that I knew could solve the bird problem. Alaska already has 2 airports that have started using robot dogs to scare off the runway, and it's working. This sparked a question. What if we use robot dogs at the dump? My idea is simple. Place robot dogs at the landfill. These machines will mimic predators with barking sounds and sudden movements to keep birds away. They are solar powered and can patrol all day. It's clean, it's safe, and it's actually kind of cool. According to Todd from the refuge, the main time of year that the birds are an issue is during the winter months, when the birds have become lazy and need easy food. Robot dogs could work during the winter daylight hours. This isn't about harming the birds, it's about guiding them back to natural spaces. Using robot dogs to deter the birds is a non-lethal method for bird control. It helps protect the environment and encourages birds to find safer, healthier food sources. What people probably don't know that Todd explained to me is that one of the most harmful things that is happening to the eagles at the dump is when they are feeding on disposed carcasses full of barbiturates from the pets that have been euthanized. This poisoning and other toxins that the birds are consuming could be prevented if robot dogs were patrolling the dump. Using robot dogs could mean a cleaner, community, less poop in plastic places, less poop in public places, fewer health risks, and fewer hours cleaning up trash. I took a trip to the landfill and met Bruce, who you probably know from the booth at the entrance. He explained that each year they hire up to 6-7 employees to clean up trash and the birds spread. In total, these full-time employees are paid between $80,000 to $120,000 per year. To bring my idea to life, I plan on proposing it to the borough assembling meeting on June 3rd. I'll request the funding purchase of just one robotic dog as a trial run at the landfill. This trial will help us measure how effective the robot is at keeping birds away, and in turn, how much it improves our community cleanliness and potentially reduces cleanup costs over time. The estimated cost for one dog is about $70,000, which is less than we spend each season on employees at the landfill. Cleaning up bird trash is a small investment that could lead to big improvements in our community. We all love dogs. I love my dog, and I have found a way to use man's best friend at the dump. The technology exists, the birds are a problem, and the solution is within reach. Let's show what's possible, and the community invests in creative ideas. This project may start with one robot dog, but it's about so much more. It's about protecting the people who live here. It's about making smart, sustainable choices, and it's about believing that one student with one idea can make a real difference.
He looks so real. The Robo-doodle. Then you would have thought it was a real dog, wouldn't you? Questions? Peggy.
How big is one of these robots?
So they weigh around 120 pounds, and they can go up to 4 miles an hour. And
So they wouldn't be prey, like to have, they're not small or an eagle's gonna come down.
they're big enough. The eagles would not probably try and mess with them.
Next question, Brad.
Sure, two questions. One is, in your research, have you discovered if is their presence that scares the birds away, or is the dog bark?
The dogs bark, and they have they'll detect the birds and go after the birds, and they have like when they detect birds, or they can also be controlled with a remote, they will go after the birds, just try and scare them off.
Thanks. And then the second question I have is, have you given any thought to if you combine this with, some airports use sonic, like a shotgun with blanks in it. Occasionally they go off during usually business hours to help keep the birds away. Couple that with the dog.
I asked, or when I was talking to Bruce at the dump, he said that they've tried that and it hasn't worked.
Yeah. Any other questions about a Robo-dog? Mr. Mayor.
We're going to deploy a Robo-dog so that we can.
You're going to have a problem. It's not just a tourist destination at the landfill.
Yeah, there are a lot of award-winning photos taken of eagles at the landfill. It's a great idea. They're expensive. It's a very large area, but I would like to learn more about it. I appreciate you bringing it forward. I think it's a great thing to consider.
Thank you.
I don't know if they still are, but they used to euthanize birds at the airport. And then with Caring for the Kenai idea, had a dog that was out there, and they ran experiments, and she did that until she graduated from high school. Other questions? Okay, let's hear it for the Robo-dog. Now, judges, look at your notes. If you want to go in and change whatever you need to do online, it's available for you. We want you to be happy with placing your numbers where you think they should be. And then we'll let our technician run all of those numbers together, and we're going to come up with the results and announce them tonight. However, we won't be giving the awards out tonight because a week from Saturday, there is going to be a community banquet. And that's thanks to our sponsors and, of course, Marathon. We give these kids a prime rib dinner, and we require your reservations. But we also pair these kids with people of the community who can help them implement it. I can see Mr. Michicki hosting a table for a Robo-dog. I can see Brad and the fire starters, coming to the banquet. So understand it's not just your typical banquet, but this is the first step for these ideas to be implemented. And we want to encourage, as a community, these kids to keep thinking, to keep learning about their ideas, and then to implement them. That's what it's all about. So we will ask that all of our contestants give us the RSVP. The governor has been invited, and that is pending. And of course, there are no promises, but I can promise you that it not only will be an entertaining banquet, informative, and we will have a former Homer High School graduate as our keynote speaker this year. Happens to be someone who is the only owner of an Alaska oil and gas company who is drilling and was looking at bringing on natural gas for us. So it should be interesting, not only for the teachers and the families, but to come out to the banquet, and that will be at the Kenai Visitor and Cultural Center. Okay, so are the judges changing things? Are you all in, all done? Okay, we'll give you a few more minutes, and then we will close it out. And then my fun part, because as you know, I like to interview people. And I'll have some questions for all of the judges tonight, because our IT people are going to need some time to run the programs, to get all the scores right, and to get that finalized. So it's always entertaining to talk to the folks who are here judging and see what their opinions are about the programs and the ideas that they've seen here tonight. We all closed in, Peggy? Anybody else still changing things? Okay, I see it all done. Okay, that means Samantha and Hadassah, you are ready to run the program. The judges are done, and we will start talking to people. I'm going to come down here to Caitlin. Did the other Girl Scouts stay here? Are they still here? Okay, yeah, come on down, because these girls came to Washington, D.C., and as I was telling our judges, one of the reasons that language arts is important, especially in today, where we use so much of the digital stuff, is that when these girls submitted their first entry 2 years ago, it didn't even make it into the A pile, because the person who was doing the reading thought that, well, they had been out there and they had seen the bucket trees, and they thought that the person writing the essay had simply talked about something they had seen at the campground. Being able to elucidate, and again, the oral presentations, why they are so important, is a real world experience. I know Caitlin's mom, okay, and dad, okay. And when I saw their idea, I said, this not only should be re-entered next year, but I'm going to nominate it for a President's Environmental Youth Award, which they won last year and went to Washington, D.C. So, Caitlin, I want to ask you just kind of about the story of how this whole progression worked. I think last year in your oral presentation, you talked about how you got your idea, because your mom and dad were out fighting the Funny River fire. Did you know that this idea that when you first built the tree, that it would go to where it is now?
No, like definitely as a group, we did not know that our idea was going to expand, especially to the Presidential Environmental Youth Award. So we're really happy that right now we are expanding it out to the state, and hopefully it'll expand out to national wide.
I had lunch with the Rotary District Governor today, and we were talking about your idea. And the Rotary clubs all over Alaska are now thinking about taking on the project like the Soldotna Rotary Club did, so that in Alaska, every campground with a water source will have a bucket tree. How does that make you feel?
It makes me really happy, and of course, as a group, we're really happy about it.
Okay, this was a team effort. Now, you girls were there building bucket trees with the Soldotna Rotary Club. You have to tell me your name.
Katie.
Katie, did you go to Washington, D.C.?
Yes, I did.
Had you been there before?
Nope.
What was your impressions of the nation's capital?
Insane.
Did you take a tour? Did you see some of the monuments?
Yeah, we got some private tours and things like that. But for the most part, we just kind of looked around at all the.
Now, you did this as a Girl Scout project. When you joined Girl Scouts, did you ever think it would end up being what it has become now?
No, everybody else my age quit Girl Scouts a few years ago, and I was the only one who stuck around. I was not expecting all of this to come from that.
You think you made a good choice?
Yes, I did.
And is Girl Scouts have a future with this type of thing? Should girls that are younger than you start thinking about getting involved with scouting to learn some real life lessons?
I feel like yes, they should. I had a really good leader, Leah. And she was probably the reason why we all made it this far. And if you can volunteer for something like that and make it big for your girls, then it's a really good part of life.
Leah, that's going to cost you pizza for all the girls after tonight. Okay. Your name?
Emma.
Why did you join Girl Scouts, Emma?
I joined because I wanted to have some fun, and I knew some people in it, and it really helped expand my capabilities in different situations and things like that.
Where do you go to school?
I go to River City Academy.
Okay, now you were there at the Rotary Club meeting where they were building these 10 bucket trees. And they have it all engineered, they had it all designed and architecturally, and all the Rotarians had to do was put it together. But there you were with a bunch of old guys as well as foreign exchange students building this project. What did you think about that?
It was a really fun experience, and we had a lot of fun together.
And what did you like about Washington, D.C.?
I liked all of the really historic buildings that you could go around and see.
Kind of comes alive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you girls are to be congratulated. Let's give them a round of applause because they're amazing what they did following through with the project. I'm talking about following through, another guy, were you there building bucket trees? I forget.
No.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing, you don't have to do everything that Rotary does, but are you proud to be a part of a club that takes projects like this and takes it on to the next level?
Oh yeah, no, it was great when they came to us to help with the bucket trees. I think it was a no-brainer that we would help. So I just wasn't available the day we built them. So
Trent, you're a busy guy, and the Watershed Forum, of course, remember when Robert Ruffner first started it, and they're great supporters of the program. This is your first time being a judge and participating here. Give me your comments.
wow, so impressive. You know, every project for sure is worthy, but I was going through and it didn't affect how I graded, but there's 5 or 6 that we could definitely help out with or be a part of or even promote. I mean, there's so many things that the kids have pitched to us that, you know, our Watershed Forum type projects. Everything we do try to center around the community, bringing in volunteers and, you know, anything from the moose mush, the running, you know, the fishing derbies. I mean, those are the kinds of things that we're looking for to either promote or help facilitate. So this is great.
Now, you weren't here when the Salmon Run series was pitched as an idea. And little Allie Ostrander, which now is a global name, who's a professional runner, got up here on stage and pitched her idea. Then she went out and did it. And now many years have passed, and she's a internationally known runner. But as the executive director of the Watershed Forum, what has that project turned into monetarily to help eliminate invasive plant species?
Yeah, that's a great project for us every summer. We're bringing in thousands of dollars a year on that one. You know, and of course, it all depends on how many runners we get. But we've seen, you know, a dip. We saw a dip during COVID, but we've seen those numbers come back up. It's a great community project as well because we'll get the same folks running week to week, and we'll get families that'll come and run week to week. And we like to get our interns involved in that program as well. So it was kind of neat to see our interns kind of make friends with all these different runners coming. And so just builds a community. And then like you mentioned, the icing on the cake is we get some funding to help us fight invasive plants.
And having talked to some of those runners, what they really enjoy not only is the training series, because it's a progressive series that Allie created, but they are also giving to the community. They're also helping out the environment while they're running, and it's kind of like a win-win situation. But do you have an estimate about the total since the Salmon Run series started that you've raised?
I feel remiss that I do not have the total on that, but I can get back to you.
It's well over 6 figures, everybody. It's amazing. From a high school freshman's idea to what it's done, and it has really had an impact on invasive species. You saw some fun things up here, Miss Peggy.
I did. And I've been in all different levels of judging with this, plus being in the schools for so many years. And it always surprises me that there's ideas that we've never seen or heard.
One of the comments I had from a Unical official out of Los Angeles when we started this program for the second year, how many ideas could anybody have about the environment? You're just going to be repeating the same things over and over again. Have you ever seen the same things twice?
Very rarely. Sometimes we see different iterations or themes, but it's been really, I love coming up with creative solutions and seeing ideas. And so as technology has changed, as science is changing, we're seeing that just evidenced in what their kids are presenting to us.
Well, so one idea leads to another. That's why I love the moose mush, the fat tire bite. I mean, yeah, it duplicates basically the salmon run series, but we're going to have the same accomplishment, and you don't have to be a runner. You can get on your bike and get out there and help kill some insects. You a little worried that you can't be hauled in with that magnet, Ben?
No chance, really. But I just want to take an opportunity to, how many years have you been doing this?
35.
35 years. I think Merrill deserves a big round of applause for the work that he's done. And I hope we can keep it going. I know you're thinking about stepping away, and I hope we can find a way to keep it going, because it's so impressive to see these young kids come up and with such poise deliver their projects. It's amazing.
Ben, your support since you came to here from another community, and I just have to say that I'm one of the richest people that you know, okay? And it's not my stock portfolio that makes me, but 35 years working with these kids and encouraging them and then seeing the life-changing thing results, that is priceless. And when I am compost burial here and pushing up flowers, I want to be sure that there are other kids that are coming and making their ideas, thoughts known here in this school district. So thank you for your support.
It's my pleasure to be here, my privilege.
And Brad, have you decided what you want to be when you grow up yet?
Probably a fireman, but by the time I get there, I might be too old.
It happens, doesn't it?
It does. It happens way quicker than we think. So
You've been here a couple of times. What did you see here tonight that you really liked?
a lot of really good presentations. I like the ones with the landfill. I like the ones with the roads. A lot of interaction I could kind of see coming from the students with the borough and with DOT. And even a lot of the Kenai River ideas were great. So lots of good new ideas that you go, dang, that was right underneath my nose all along, and I didn't think of that. And I read through all the orals earlier this week, and I started changing the writing, and then I reminded myself that it's their writing, not me writing, which is different. And I went, okay, it's not my writing, but it's way better than I could have done at their age.
When you see the future and when you see these ideas and like both of us, getting older, but we both have children and grandchildren, and it just gives you a lot of hope, doesn't it?
It does. In fact, I was having this discussion earlier with, I think, Peter, or maybe it was Bruce, that are the next generation, they know a different set of facts than what we knew growing up, and I visit with my own kids. It's like, I'm not sure they could put a chain on a bicycle tire, but for you and I, it's like, it's a no-brainer. But they glow when they talk about how batteries function or something like that, where we go, where'd you learn that? How do you know that? And it's just a different set of information today. So it's really good. I really enjoy it. So.
And being involved with energy and seeing that these kids are now thinking about things for the future in order to keep the lights on, and that they are someday going to be the people that are going to be looking for jobs at our Homer Electric Association?
I hope so. That's one of our biggest challenges. We've got about 141 employees, and most people say, well, I don't want to climb poles for a living. The majority of our jobs are not people that climb poles. So there's opportunities for everybody, and we really strive to get local kids. So after you train them up, they stay here. Otherwise, what they do is they go back to wherever they came from. So they'll put in 5 years, a lot of training, and then they're gone. And we find the local kids tend to stick around. So, and it's great.
A lot of your linemen are heroes because when our lights go out, we usually complain or say something. But the guys that head out right away in those 85-mile-an-hour winds and get out there in the snow and the ice to get the power back on, regardless of how long it takes, that takes a hero, Brad.
It certainly takes a lot of hard work. And I think I'm one of the few people that appreciate having a shortage of snow this year.
Have you ever climbed a pole in an 85-mile-an-hour wind?
I have not.
In Alaska, we call that Tuesday, 85-mile-an-hour wind. Every place else, it's a hurricane. But here, it's Tuesday. Bruce, a Nikiski Bulldog. And now you're here. You're hiring people, you're funding these programs, as well as paying a huge chunk of tax so that we can have the borough funded and our roads clean. Speaking of heroes, Bruce, hello.
Well, Merrill, I'm going to show my age here, but I wasn't Nikiski. I grew up in Nikiski, but the high school wasn't open when I graduated. So
you were a Cardinal.
I was, yeah.
Back when there was a red tide on the football field?
Yeah, it was back when the field was grass and mud, not turf for sure.
And there was no so high 181 win record.
No, but they were very good. Yeah.
Do you remember when the so high team first started?
No, I'm not quite that old.
I am. And I just got to tell you, they were awful. I mean, Kenai's junior varsity, could have put so high to shame. But that turns around because of dedication, because of people, and you hire a lot of these people, Bruce. They think more about community than they do other things. Yeah, we got a great community here. We got hunting, we got fishing, and we got things that people want to stay here for. But it takes that commitment. And having worked with your employees and been out there at the plant and seen them, anytime I see the guy wearing that Marathon logo, I know that he is also contributing to these type of programs. And this is just one thing that Marathon supports.
I want to start with the kids here today, and the kids here today are obviously the future leaders that we're going to all be looking to hire here in a few years. And it is people like this that we're all looking for that are going to lead this community in the future. And as for Marathon, when we hire a new employee, I tell them three things. I tell them that they got to do it safely or not at all. They have to make time to do it right. And that we operate at the pleasure of the community. And it's that community involvement that's expected with every single one of our employees. And they embrace it. They love it. They're coaches, they're volunteers. They're doing everything they can in the community. And this is just one part of our involvement.
Everyone that I've met feels like they are part of a family and important to what you do.
Yeah, we're proud of what we do, and we're proud to be part of this community.
Thank you. Clayton. Man, you came in during the worst storm possible. And yet you had the heart because you were an educator of special ed kids. And we've had some special ed kids in the Caring for the Kenai finals go on and not only overcome their challenges, but get college educations.
Yeah, Merrill, we've had all sorts of kids come through here and go on and succeed in life, go to college, have successful careers with Marathon or other locations. And I'm just going to go back to, you're right, I came in on a hard time with the pandemic and now the budget and societal issues. And one thing I hear about quite often is our kids are failing, right? We've talked about this a lot. We hear that over and over. Come to events like this. Come actually be with our kids to see how we're doing. Our kids are not failing. They're doing great things. And so I'm proud of our educators, proud of the kids that were here tonight. And I'm proud of all of our students. From the students, and I talk about those too, that we have some students, growth might be, you're talking special education, a student who communicates by blinking. We have students like that who are making a simple choice where they couldn't do anything before, all the way to kids are going to MIT. We have 3 kids this year at MIT, or will next year have 3 total. We have kids at all levels who are doing great things. And I'm echoing what I heard too. We want kids to stay here and be successful in local jobs and fill our positions. So it makes me proud to see these students. And I think another thing, Merrill, is just the generations that have come through and done this, that we have educators that were on this stage at one point and winning this competition or part of it. And so just, it's always fun to talk to them. And I also think back, I was watching the video with the dad and the student today. I think that's where it hits me. I remember fishing with my son, and we were actually talking about this project. We had this great idea. I had this, like, hey, release some fish. He didn't go with that idea at all. But we spent a whole day talking about what people do for these projects and different ideas there are, and how valuable it is. So, Meryl, you've had a huge impact, and you make education real right here. It's applying everything they've learned to real life and to a real idea, and then come up here and presenting it. So thank you for all you've done.
Well, you're welcome. And what you said, not only are the kids not letting us down, but the educational system, our educators are not letting us down. And people who want to tag that to a test score, really should just get into the schools, volunteer. If you want to help somebody learn how to do math, do it. But otherwise, just to say that this district is letting our kids down is not true. You are doing a great job. Our teachers are doing a great job. You have some of the best people in your administrative staff that I've ever worked with. And as you just reminded me, I've been doing that for 35 years. And some of the greatest people, national award-winning teachers came here, to be with our kids. Mr. Mayor, am I going to have to disqualify you again next year?
My next one is in 5th grade, so I think it'll be a little while.
Well, yeah, but Lucy had a project that was 2nd place and that actually touched my heart and that needs to be implemented. And I know she's busy, but I would really like to see her re-enter that project based on what she has accomplished in getting it implemented.
Yeah, we call her number 463, not Lucy Machicki. No, I really enjoyed this tonight. The contest has grown up, and we heard a reflection of that. Every project early on was about recycling and bees that'll pay taxes and things like that. And the things,
don't forget Moose Kill.
The things we talked about tonight are really important. They're looking at infrastructure impacts. They're looking at real life things. There were 3 areas of the borough that this hits. I'm going to invite your kids to reach out because I'll put them on a little work group. I don't want to say little. We'll put them on a work group, a real one, where we work on the issues at the landfill. We have the director and some other staff, and we get together with our resilience and security folks. And I'd love to put a couple kids on those teams to hear about the real life challenges, have them understand some of the things that we're considering, and offering their ideas. I mean, the fire starters, that's a real life thing. And the only thing Brad likes to do more than put out fires is light fireworks. So, but that's a different story. The solid waste solutions, the road infrastructure challenges. I'm not going to talk about the environmental things because we have a lot of experts here, but they've grown up, they've branched out. They're looking at science in a lot of different areas that impact safety, public safety, and cost and environmental connection, but I'm really proud of them. And I agree. When you talk about our kids failing every day, how do you think it makes our kids feel? We have some brilliant young people coming out of this district and out of the state of Alaska. A lot of the folks that have that view, and yeah, there's the standardized testing thing, but the bottom line is our folks do a very good job with the tools they have to work with. I hope we can work out the funding issues that we're working on so that we can continue to offer some of those STEM programs and other educational products that are destined to be cut if we can't come to a deal in Juneau. So again, to our students, reach out to us if we can help. If they need a state contact for resources, I'm happy to connect them with folks within the state government that can help them as well. And I'm just really proud of what we saw tonight.
And I'm also proud of our elected officials from this district because through the years, they have listened. I remember when Kenai, probably forgot her name, but she got a team together to go and teach the dip netters how to get rid of their fish, and where to place that waste. And they went out on a volunteer basis. And then later, she was at the city council. The mayor and the city councilman were asking her as an expert on what they needed to do to help clean up the beaches there. And it was a high school kid that was telling our elected officials, and they listened, and it's listening to these kids that is what it's all about.
Yeah, we put the ice eater to work. Do you remember that? Because our sewage settling ponds freeze in the winter, and a kid had the idea of a little robot that would walk around and break up the ice. we put it to work in Soldotna, and it worked really well. I mean, if you think about the impurities that were kept out of the river, it worked very well. So it was pretty impressive. We listened, we put it into play, and it worked really well for us.
I like seeing magnets come back because I remember the idea, in the city of Kenai bought these magnet rigs. Yeah. Rakes, and they would rake the beaches and pull all of that stuff that could cut your feet off out of the beach. And again, from a high school kid thinking this could work, and elected officials who said, yeah, we'll make that work. So congratulations to all you judges. And it looks like we are starting to get our results, which we've all been waiting for. I always get nervous when it comes to trusting technology. George Stein, for many years of Langner Tutor and Way, was a CPA, and he was always back there, and he would run his 10 key and get us the results. But now it's all done AI. Okay, our first runner-up is number 368. Comes from Soldotna High School, which had 7 of our finalists tonight, by the way. The name is Ali Dahl. Ali, come on out and get your sweatshirt. Speeds, electronic speed signs. Love it. Ali, come on. Okay. Now, hold on to that and have us placed on stage. We're going to get some photo ops afterwards, and we're going to get our next runner-up. And this runner-up is from Sohai, and it's none other than Dorothy Brown, who led off tonight's competition with her idea, which was beautification by nature. Dorothy, come on down. Dorothy, I won my bet. I got you to smile. And it'll be published. She's got a beautiful smile. It's going to be on our, not only the website, but on all of our publicity. And we take our group photos. And our next runner-up and winner of $500 is the coat closet from Soldotna High School, Mr. B's class. And come on down, Alexis Verba. Love your heart of thinking of people who are in need. Our next runner-up and a $500 check will be awarded next Saturday to Thomas Cooper, number 484. His idea of the
Magnetic fishing rod.
It's Payne Cooper. I had the name wrong. Okay, Payne Cooper, come on down. Good job. The next runner-up, this is her second time to make it into the finals, and that's not an easy thing to do. She's the person who wants to shred up all of those tires and get them in the playgrounds, and maybe so that I don't have to mow my grass, I could use it on my front lawn. That's Abby Crumrine from Cookland Academy. Congratulations, Abby. You made it twice. And our next runner-up, with the cardboard turned into planters, which might work for a compost burial, from Soldotna High School, and that is none other than Shay Linton. Shay, come on down. And now we move up into a little higher money, into 6th place, this year winning $750 for taking 6th place is Eli Richards from Soldotna High School. The Robo-dog, the Robo Trash Control. Love that snooter-doodle. 6th place is none other than Ellie Smith and the Magnet Masters Derby. I could probably catch something. That's Kristen Davis, who has had many winners here at Kenai Central High School. You did such a good job, and I hope you'll take me magnet fishing with you. I would look forward to that. Okay, that brings us up to 5th place.
4th place.
I'm glad somebody's paying attention. Okay, 4th place, $1,000 for the fire starters and that is Lucinda Sauser. Lucy, come on down. Great job. You could really have a great impact. I hope you'll follow through with that. Okay, now we move up another place, third place. We are in third place. Just checking. T. Lee Lockwood from Homer. Reducing oil and the bystander way. We'll have a check for $1,100 for you Saturday. Congratulations. Good job. Places 1 through 4, please stick around for some radio interviews, and everybody stick around till I get some photo ops for our publicity. And now we are to second place. Second place, another Kristen Davis student from here at Kenai. I got to remember where I am. That's Foster Kyle, the Moose Mush. $1,300 is what you cashed for coming up with that original idea. And now the top of the class of 2025, our 35th anniversary. Well, you know who you are, so you might as well just come on down. I mean, right? No mystery here. Hannah Leatherman, her idea. Paving the way. Good job. You're the winner, first place winner. That's $2,000 this year. Well, that's okay. You're welcome. No, stay here. Yeah, and you're going to have to talk to me in a radio interview. Congratulations. Everybody, big round of applause. Our volunteer staff backstage that helps us put the money into the kids and not into a lot of administrative costs is our Chamber of Commerce executive directors, our timekeeper, Heidi and Samantha. And Hadassah, come on out, guys. We need to give you a round of applause. I so appreciate you. And even though I'm technologically illiterate, I'm glad that you put up with that ignorance. Okay, guys, hopefully we will see you all again next year. Judges, thank you, all our sponsors. It's because of you that we are here tonight. Drive safe out there, and we'll look forward to your kids and your grandkids coming up with ideas and being right here on the stage next year. Thank you for coming, everybody.